I'm still, after all the fights you've had, in awe of the fact that you do what you do. It's mind-blowing to me.
Thank you, man. Yeah. I mean, it's not that hard to get to beat, but it was a great experience. Like, I learned a lot in there. I can't really talk.
When this fight was first announced, you had said something to the effect of this would end Jake Paul's career. After what you saw tonight, do you think that Jake should continue to box, or what do you think the future holds?
Yeah, I really take my hat off. So, I mean, we have to see if it is a broken jaw. Those injuries are very difficult to come back from. But as AJ said, like that last shot would have knocked out a lot of heavy.
I'm honestly stunned watching everything you've survived in that ring. It's unreal you keep doing this. Truly wild. Respect. Seriously. Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't impossible to get here, but it was an amazing lesson. I learned a ton inside. Talking is rough right now. When this fight got announced, you hinted it could end Jake Paul's career. After tonight, should Jake keep boxing, or is the future something else entirely? I tip my hat to him, but we need confirmation if it's a broken jaw. Those injuries are brutal to recover from. And like AJ said, that final shot would have flattened most heavyweights. Alright, here's why the entire combat sports universe is losing its mind right now. Jake Paul, the 28-year-old internet sensation turned pro boxer, has reportedly stepped away from boxing. And this comes straight after a career-altering 6th-round knockout loss to former heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua in Miami. And no, this wasn't some routine knockout, people. This was savage. Paul didn't just lose. He exited with a double-fractured jaw that needed immediate surgery. Let that sink in. He walked in as a crossover superstar, building hype, chasing legitimacy, determined to prove he was more than a YouTube experiment. Then Joshua's thunderous right hand detonated, ended it violently, and now everyone's asking if Jake Paul's boxing story just ended forever. Here's the twist. Paul actually took 2 rounds on one judge's card before everything collapsed, proving he was competitive until chaos struck. 2 rounds in, then boom, dropped. He said he felt good, but the cardio, the pressure, sparring bigger men, and those 10-ounce gloves made AJ's power undeniable. Still, he called it a learning experience. Then comes the pain check. Yes, he's hurting. Not from talking. From the jaw. It feels like a baseball. 2 plates. Actually, 4 titanium plates. 1 jaw. 8 screws. 8. Pause. Because this is where it turns disturbing. A clip surfaced mentioning a titanium rod, adding to the madness. Here's what's confirmed. Sources say Paul is exhausted, mentally drained, and questioning everything after absorbing punishment at this level. He's openly considering walking away for good. That decision reportedly solidified after that brutal knockout. And brutal doesn't even cover it. He was dropped repeatedly. Each time, the damage showed. Then the final blow shattered his jaw, sent him straight to surgery, and ignited speculation about whether he'll ever return. Taking that kind of punishment from an elite heavyweight like Joshua, a man forged at the top, forces hard questions. And honestly, who wouldn't ask them? A clip even surfaced of someone saying, "I am retiring from boxing," pouring gasoline on the rumors. He joked about getting punched daily instead of playing soccer in Saudi, bragged about his childhood athleticism, his kick, his speed, and demanded $1 billion to prove it. Sounds insane, right? But listen to the insiders. Promoter reactions tell the real story. Eddie Hearn didn't dodge his earlier claim that this fight could end Jake Paul's career. After watching it unfold, his tone shifted. Serious. Reflective. When revisiting that prediction, Hearn said the outcome painfully proved him right. No gloating, just concern. He explained that double jaw fractures with plates and screws aren't just painful, they're mentally devastating. Recovery steals time, sharpness, rhythm, and confidence. Fear creeps in with every punch. Hearn praised Jake's toughness and willingness to face real opposition, something critics swore he'd never do. But he stressed the cold truth. Boxing is ruthless. It doesn't care about fame or fortune. And moments like this force fighters to decide if the cost is worth paying. If you're watching this, don't sit silent. Drop your thoughts, hit subscribe, and stay locked in, because this story is far from over. Moments like this knockout, those career-shaping flashes where serious damage happens, usually push fighters to pause and brutally question if the physical danger and long-term health costs are truly worth any fame or cash waiting ahead. Look, That guy actually performed well for someone boxing less than a decade. He hasn't faced many real professional opponents except Tommy Fury, who was a legitimate world-class boxer. I barely remember that fight. He lost a close decision, but it was solid. It really was a good fight. He's a skilled boxer. If he weren't a YouTuber, people would be far more impressed. The issue was he became famous young, so nobody took him seriously. Then he leaned into spectacle fights. People mocked it, like fighting Nate Robinson, a basketball player. But here's the thing, he knocked Nate Robinson completely out, and the way he did it was what I kept stressing. I kept saying, no, no, no. Joe Rogan, who has covered combat sports for decades and witnessed nearly every possible fighter outcome, delivered perhaps the most serious warning after Jake Paul was knocked cold by Anthony Joshua and suffered that double broken jaw we keep mentioning. Rogan, speaking on his podcast with that mix of blunt truth and real concern, urged Paul to think carefully about the long-term consequences of boxing at this level. And when Joe Rogan warns you about head trauma, you listen. He's seen fighters chewed up by this sport. Rogan stressed that the punishment Paul took, especially those thunderous headshots from a seasoned heavyweight like Joshua, carries risks far beyond visible injuries like a broken jaw. He suggested there's a neurological and physical price that builds over time and simply isn't worth it for someone with other life options. Rogan discussed severe long-term effects many fighters face after retirement. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy, memory loss, mood issues, all things science keeps uncovering. He described the knockout punch as having the force of about 10 punches packed into one terrifying impact, which is horrifying when you imagine the brain slamming inside the skull. Rogan highlighted how fast damage stacks up in the ring, especially at heavyweight where power is on another planet. His message wasn't about one fight. It was a broader warning that repeated punishment at this level, particularly from elite heavyweights, can permanently damage your quality of life. And Paul should seriously weigh whether continuing is worth that risk when he has so many other paths available. That I'm a cokehead. My response was simple. I said, test me randomly for 5 years if I can test you randomly for performance enhancers for 2. I never got a reply. This is why people say Jake Paul is on PDs. Over the past year, Jake Paul looks like he hit a second puberty and aged 10 years. He has acne, a receding hairline, and access to the world's best doctors and treatments regular people don't get. I'm not saying he used steroids to look bigger, but he's clearly taking something that helps recovery so he can train harder and improve faster. Now here's where it gets wild. Paul has reportedly suggested he might actually run a steroid cycle to silence accusations that he's already been using performance-enhancing drugs. Online chatter claims he thinks showing the difference between natural and enhanced would prove he was clean before. Critics say that sounds reckless and could cause serious legal trouble. Supporters think he's just being provocative again. With boxing's strict anti-doping rules, many doubt he'd follow through. Until Paul directly addresses it, the claim stays unverified, adding chaos to an already turbulent career moment. People still deserve respect. Every fighter who steps in the ring does. And now the facts. Anthony Joshua shattered Jake Paul's jaw in Miami with a single devastating right hand in the 6th round. Paul dropped instantly. That punch fractured his jaw in 2 places. Surgery followed. Titanium plates. Teeth removed. Paul confirmed it himself. Despite everything, he lasted 6 rounds. And that alone earned respect. He's got plenty to fix with his team and push forward, aiming higher for a massive 2026 comeback. Now, let's tackle the non-stop speculation and conspiracy theories that trail every Jake Paul fight. Let's address the elephant screaming across the internet. The brutal 6th round knockout of Jake Paul by Anthony Joshua erased any doubt that this fight was real, not scripted, not staged, not fake. Despite skeptics spinning theories before the opening bell, promoter Eddie Hearn, a man who's seen every trick in boxing, shut those claims down hard. In multiple post-fight interviews, Hearn made it clear this was a fully sanctioned professional bout with real consequences, overseen by strict boxing authorities and tied to legal betting markets worldwide. A scripted outcome wouldn't just be unethical, it would be illegal and nearly impossible without dozens of people risking prison. Think about it. Regulators, cameras, officials, gamblers everywhere. Fixing this fight would be chaos. It doesn't add up. Hearn also highlighted the most obvious proof of reality. Paul's double jaw fracture, a legitimate injury that required immediate surgery, titanium plates, and teeth removal. As Hearn bluntly said, You don't fake that. No fighter volunteers to have his jaw snapped in two just to sell a conspiracy. Medical records, surgery, recovery timelines, all confirm what happened. Two professionals fought for real. One absorbed a devastating knockout that ended his night, and maybe his career.